Alright, no time for a witty introduction. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power is leaving Netflix in less than a month. By the time you see this video, you'll only have a little over 3 weeks before the show gets removed from Netflix on February 21st.
A date which will live in infamy.
To make matters worse, the show was a Netflix original, one of about 100 suffering the same fate over the course of this year, so it's pretty unlikely there'll be another way to watch it anytime soon. The first 3 seasons got a DVD release, but for now that's your only physical media option. I'd already been meaning to review the show at some point. I watched it for the first time with my sister last summer, and I thought it was fairly decent, but I was gonna hold off. I just reviewed Infinity Train and Kipo. I don't want to build up an image as that guy who reviews kids' cartoons. I've got other shows I want to talk about, dang it. Obviously, though, time didn't exactly end up on my side there. I only discovered that She-Ra was on its way to join the Choir Invisible as I was just about to release a review for Kipo. If I was gonna try and do my part to get the word out, it was now or never. So I cracked my knuckles, did a quick emergency rewatch of about 20 important episodes to refresh my memory on the show, and I got to work.
Show me She-Ra again.
And I gotta say, this show is different than I remembered it. In a good way. But we'll get back to that later. For now, we need some nice, juicy context, and to get that, we need to look into the past. There's a whole long story here, but we really don't have time for all of it, so here's the condensed version. Back in the long ago of the 1980s, there was a show called
And the Masters of the Universe.
It was designed to promote Mattel's toy line of the same name, and it was doing a fairly good job. But for some reason, I can't quite put my finger on, people seem to have this idea that these toys were specifically for young boys.
He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe.
And because this was the 1980s, this meant there was a whole half of the toy market that Masters of the Universe wasn't reaching. Mattel clearly didn't have enough gendered toy lines already, so they created
She-Ra, Princess of Power.
to try and bring He-Man's success across gender boundaries. While the two shows didn't take place in the same universe per se, their universes are linked and they do cross over a couple of times.
By the power of Grayskull.
For the honor of Grayskull. For the honor of Grayskull.
This version of She-Ra lasted for about 90 episodes from 1985 to 1987, but of course, because this was the 80s, syndicated reruns lasted a little while longer. Anyway, this isn't the show we're focused on today, and we really don't have time to get in the weeds on it too deeply. We're on a time limit here. All we need to know about this show is that it exists and would ultimately be the inspiration for the show we're talking about today. And now that we know that, we can jump right on ahead to 2016, where award-winning writer N.D. Stevenson has given himself a challenge. Turn the show from a serialized advertisement designed to sell toys to little girls into an actual story that can resonate with the families of the present. He's got backing from Netflix, and DreamWorks is handling the production side, so he definitely has all the resources he needs to do that. So what does he do with them? Well, for starters, he mostly leaves the premise from the original show alone, which we probably should expect from a reboot. Horde bad, Rebellion good. Hope that's not too political for you. This is Adora. Everyone say hi, Adora.
Hey, Adora.
She was bad, but now she's good.
I turned against the Horde. Why did I do that?
She's moving into our neighborhood with her big-ass magic sword that she found in the woods that lets her turn into a 7-foot-tall princess of power. Bet you can't guess what she's called.
She-Ra.
Once the premise is out of the way, though, Stevenson and company basically rebuild the show from the ground up, starting with the characters. Other than their powers, the cast of this show is pretty much the same in name only. Their designs, personalities, and stories are all completely reworked for this new story, and boy howdy did they do a good job. Character is absolutely what I consider this show's strongest point. For one thing, I'm a big fan of the new designs, I just think they look really neat, but more importantly, they're super fun to watch.
Let me show you how it's done, lassie.
Go Adora! Put him in the dirt.
This is so dumb.
We get standouts like boat-burning aficionado Seahawk,
Seahawk is impressed with my knots. This is the best day of my life.
eccentric researcher Entrapta, and Double Trouble, who's basically just Envy from Full Metal Alchemist. They're probably my favorite.
I can't cry on cue. Whenever a role calls for tears, the only thing that works is thinking about children falling.
And lots of the characters have fairly complex, in-depth arcs as well. Catra's Descent into Madness is my personal favorite, but we've also got Frost and Glimmer, who struggle to get others to take them seriously as young leaders, and Scorpia, who's always trying to find a place to fit in. Odds are that you're gonna find at least someone in this cast to identify with.
You're telling my whole life with your words.
And the story they tell with these characters isn't half bad. I did say with these characters, and yes, it's very character-focused. It pretty much has to be, given that by and large the premise is kept the same. But they do a really great job of using the characters to move the fight between the Rebellion and the Horde to new stages. The good guys are fighting amongst themselves about what to do next, the bad guys take advantage of that and put pressure on them. Catra is taking out her frustration on her subordinates, they start slipping, and the good guys get valuable intel. And they do change things up with the premise just enough to keep that part of it interesting. Like I said, this is a completely new story. Really, I just don't think that this is one of those shows that has big issues that are dragging down the watchability on their own. Rather, it's one of those where each of the good qualities has a dark side, and they add up like tiny weights on a weather balloon. They just stop it from going up as high as it might go otherwise. Take the acting, for example. Most of the time, it's pretty good, and they got a ton of skilled actors here. Jordan Fisher, Lorraine Toussaint, and Greta Lyle, to name a few. Also, Anthony Del Rio, who you probably know as Pit from Kid Icarus and Smash Bros.
I never learned how to read!
No, really, he plays Kyle.
The woods are attacking us with very painful snow.
Why is he talking?
But for various reasons, I feel like the reads and the pacing don't always make the scenes flow as well as they might be capable of. And I definitely felt like there were times that some of these actors were guilty of overacting in dramatic scenes.
Princesses are monsters!
Monsters? We can't trust her, Bo! Or have you forgotten everything the Horde's done to us? The people we've lost.
Drama dial here is up at a 9 and really could have left it at like a 6 and the scene would have been better. And that kind of goes in tandem with the writing. Most of the time, it's really good, but there are absolutely times where it could do with a bit less
cheese.
I didn't break the world, but I am gonna fix it.
And look, I'm cool with characters encouraging each other, but when it becomes a 2-minute long TED Talk, you start to lose me a little bit.
You are not giving up right now. I'm sorry your mom doesn't see how strong you are, but that's her loss. You can do this, Glimmer.
And while I'm not sure it's as prevalent of an issue as I thought it was when I watched for the first time, we still got plenty of plots where the solution to our existential threat is the power of love and friendship.
We're best friends. We are.
Sometimes it is the right answer in context, but that doesn't make it any less cheesy. You want to talk about cheese, though? Just listen to this theme song. They're even nice enough to spoil the show for you. There are also moments where the writing feels a little bit self-indulgent, like this D&D episode that has basically nothing to do with the overall plot whatsoever. Like, come on, guys. The season's 7 episodes long and he made one of them a filler episode? Seriously? That's a particularly bad example. Most of these episodes are at least plot relevant somehow, but we still see stuff like Boys Night Out and Princess Prom, which almost feel like sitcom episodes until the plot hits. I'm cool with fun episode ideas and all, but to me, these just kind of felt like distractions. The characters aren't immune either. While I'd say the majority of characters have stories that are at least decently complex, the ones that really don't have much of anything to speak of at all. I'd go so far as to say that some of these characters, like Perfuma and Castaspella, are pretty forgettable. And while I think a lot of viewers are a little overly critical of Glimmer, I won't deny that she has her fair share of annoying moments, and she's not the only one. Now, I don't think that any of these characters are annoying 100% of the time, but it's like I said, for every good quality, there's a dark side. But I feel like the inverse is true sometimes too. I feel like it's easy to look at the promo art and screen caps for the show, see the bright pastel-y colors, and conjure up images of stuff like My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake. Certainly that's how I felt at first. But that goes right out the window the second you see them do a fight scene or anything with real drama and stakes. I actually think their fight scene animation is really good. This doesn't feel like cheap kids animation. There's genuine care and attention paid to how these shots are lit, where characters are placed, tiny little body language movements, stuff you just don't get with slapdash computer animation. I also think that doing the animation this way is a nice gesture to keep things in the spirit of the original cartoon, which hails from the era when hand-drawn animation was the only option. It's just that it also happens to be a bit overly sparkly and bright for my tastes.
Running out of glitter?
Honestly, before I went back in to rewatch it, I had this image of She-Ra in my mind as being sort of nondescript. Like, I definitely remembered liking the show overall and really enjoying the characters, but I didn't really remember it as anything too special beyond that. Having seen it again now, though, I have definitely changed my opinion there. I think this show is a standout in the Netflix original animation catalog, and it's a real shame that going forward, watching it legally is going to get that much harder. Is She-Ra perfect? No. Is it for everybody? Probably not. But it has a definite goal and a team behind it that is passionate about getting it there. If nothing else, you should at least give it a shot, and do it soon before you can't anymore.
For the honor of Grayskull!
On my scale, I'd give She-Ra and the Princesses of Power a high 7 to a low 8. But that's just, like, my opinion.
Yeah, don't you find it helpful to shift perspective sometimes?
Oh, hey, by the way, I know 3 weeks really isn't an awful lot of time to watch a whole 51-episode show, especially if you're an adult with no spare time. So remember how I mentioned at the beginning that I did a quote-unquote emergency rewatch? Well, I figured I'd include the episodes I picked out here if you want to see a slightly condensed version of the show. Obviously, watching just these episodes leaves out quite a lot of stuff, including stuff I'd consider pretty important, so I'd really encourage you to watch the other episodes if you can. But given the time constraints we're under, you might not have that luxury, and I want to at least give you the option. I'll leave the episodes in the description as well for those interested. Also, hey, I got through the entire review without mentioning Catradora. Hey, do you want to share your thoughts on this review? Do you want to recommend me a show to review in the future? Do you want to see more content? Comment, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do it now! Ah!